How's it going, retro people? My name is Brad, this is Retro Style Spotlight, and this is your news, notes, history, and retro games to play for the week of April 18th, 2017. In ROM hacking and translation news, there's an awesome patch that is now available for a really fun Saturn game called The Legend of Oasis. This patch is actually 4 hacks in one, and one of them is normally done by an emulator, so it being in this patch is actually really cool. First up is the Res hack. This modification increases the internal resolution of the game, as a result of which the game increases the horizontal view, which has a positive effect on the gameplay. The original resolution of the game was 320 by 224 for NTSC versions and 320 by 256 for the PAL versions. As a result of the modification, the resolution of the game has increased up to 352 by 240 and 352 by 256 for the NTSC and PAL versions respectively. Second are bug fixes. This modification eliminates some bugs in the original game, as a result of which in certain locations the player could be cheating by bypassing various barriers at the cost of losing part of HP, getting on some platforms from places which were unintended by developers, jumping over platforms with the help of a spring plant, etc. In connection with the above described fixes, the positions of some objects in certain locations have changed, which made the game a little bit more complicated. Third are several tweaks. They added coloring of some labels in system menus and unlocked the hidden items of the option menu by default. Previously, these items became available only after passing the game. Now in the option menu, you can immediately set the desired difficulty and look at the rating, although it is empty if the game is not completed. Last up are some anti-scaling fixes. This hack restores most of the original scale of sprites to eliminate excessive pixelization. Not restored, those sprites then change in scale, which may break the original mechanics of the game. So this Zelda-like-ish ARPG on the Saturn has now seen some love and is more playable as a result. So check out the patch if you are interested below. In some very sad news, the NES Classic has now been discontinued in several countries, including Japan, Europe, and America. The demand for this mini console has been extremely high, and Nintendo actually added more shipments onto their original plans. But now it seems like scalpers are going to be the only way if you want this specific product. A representative from Nintendo of America has issued a statement, quote, "Throughout April, NOA territories will receive the last shipments of the Nintendo Entertainment System NES Classic Edition systems for this year. We encourage anyone interested in obtaining this system to check with retail outlets regarding availability. We understand that it has been difficult for many consumers to find a system, and for that we apologize. We have paid close attention to consumer feedback, and we greatly appreciate the incredible level of consumer interest and support for this product." End quote. This also includes the discontinuation of the NES Classic controller. However, third-party accessories will continue to be produced based on individual manufacturers. After the North American discontinuation, it also came out that more regions are receiving the bad news. So do some quick checks, make room in your bank account, and grab one now if you're really interested, or be at the mercy of scumbag resellers. And the sad part is, they're going to move into non-scumbag seller territory and feel justified because the product will no longer be on the market, which is a blow to the fight against those scumbags. For those that don't know, a scumbag reseller is somebody who goes out, buys a product that is currently on the market, freely available with an MSRP, waits for the demand to rise and the stock to lower, and sells that product at a much higher price. Now, unfortunately, with the product coming off the market, well, they were going to do it anyways before, but now they're really going to do it at much higher prices. So now, your Raspberry Pi 3 project, your Launchbox mini computer, or Launchbox GPD Win project are looking much more likely to happen. In more unreleased game news, a sequel titled Mystery World of Dizzy, a European Codemasters budget title series, is finally starting to see its NES release. The series is primarily found on PCs of that era in Europe and is fairly popular. While a budget title comparatively, this series gained some serious popularity. The mascot did originally make its jump over to the NES in 1991 with the game The Fantastic Adventures of Dizzy. The egg-shaped protagonist was set to appear in an NES sequel, and work began on Mystery World Dizzy in 1993, which was essentially a remake of the Fantasy World Dizzy game which appeared on home computers previously. However, financial difficulties for Codemasters, and I would venture to guess the waning NES market at the time, were reasons why this never got finished. Now, in 2017, Dizzy creators Philip and Andrew Oliver, otherwise known as the Oliver Twins, have released the game to play for free on the Mystery World Dizzy website to celebrate Dizzy's 30th anniversary. A Kickstarter will also be launched soon, which could see the game released as a physical NES cartridge, something that is fairly common nowadays for NES, SNES, and Genesis games. All the proceeds of the Kickstarter will be shared between the NVA and Special Effect Charity, so this is definitely a great cause to support. Check out the Dizzy website below for links to other materials, websites, books, and a link to the game for free. I very recently talked about the NES Visual Compendium, thinking that it was a great pairing to pat the NES Punk Ultimate Guide to the NES library. While that pairing is still perfect harmony, the group behind the Visual Compendium, Bitmap Books, has now created the Kickstarter for the SNES and Super Famicom Visual Compendium. The aesthetic and design looks familiar to its older brother, but filled with SNES information and artwork instead. This book focuses on the Super Famicom in Japan and the SNES across North America and Europe, offering a visual snapshot of the best games, developers, box art, and product designs from across these territories. The Kickstarter is available, and they've already met their goal with 21 days to go as I write this. By the time this episode goes live on Tuesday, there will be 19 days left, so make sure you get your pledges in soon. The tiers range from €10 to get your name in the book, a PDF edition, and backer updates, while it goes all the way up to €60 to include 2 hardcover copies of the book, 2 scanline bookmarks, 2 names in the book, a PDF edition, and those backer updates. There's even an alternate €60 edition that comes with the SNES and NES Visual Compendiums, a bookmark, a name, and the PDF edition. A lot of the more awesome and expensive tiers are gone, but that's okay. If you'd rather support the creators and get a cool book in the process with some extras on top for a decent price, then check out the link below. I've been a supporter of these types of endeavors in the past, and I don't see why it would stop anytime soon. These are simply amazing. This month in 1989, Super Mario Land is released on the original Game Boy in Japan. Super Mario Land is a side-scrolling platform video game developed and published by Nintendo as a launch title for their Game Boy handheld. It is the first Mario platform game ever to be released for a handheld console, in gameplay similar to that of the 1985 Super Mario Bros., but designed for the smaller device's screen. The player advances Mario to the end of 12 levels by moving to the right and jumping across platforms to avoid enemies and pitfalls. Unlike other Mario games, Super Mario Land is set in Sarasa Land, a new environment depicted in line art, and Mario pursues Princess Daisy. The game introduces 2 Gradius-style shooter levels as well. At Nintendo CEO Hiroshi Yamauchi's request, Game Boy creator Gunpei Yokoo's Nintendo R&D1 developed a Mario game to sell the new console. It was the first portable version of Mario and the first to be made without Mario creator and Yokoi protege Shigeru Miyamoto. Accordingly, the development team shrunk Mario gameplay elements for the device and used some elements inconsistently from the series. Super Mario Land was expected to showcase the console until Nintendo of America bundled Tetris with the new Game Boys instead. The game launched alongside the Game Boy first in Japan in April of 1989 and later worldwide. Super Mario Land was later re-released for the Nintendo 3DS via Virtual Console in 2011, again as a launch title, which featured some tweaks to the game's presentation. Reviews for the game were laudatory. Reviewers were satisfied with the smaller Super Mario Bros. Experience, but noted its short length. They considered it among the best of the Game Boy launch titles. The handheld console became an immediate success, and Super Mario Land ultimately sold over 18 million copies, more than that of Super Mario Bros. 3. Both contemporaneous and retrospective reviewers praised the game's soundtrack. The game got a series of sequels, including the 1992 Super Mario Land 2, 6 Golden Coins, and 1994's Wario Land Super Mario Land 3, whom the later would spin off into its own subseries. The game was included in several top Game Boy game lists and debuted Princess Daisy as a recurring Mario series character. If you are a patron that pledged to be a part of our Patreon campaign and are watching this early, then thank you very much. For those of you who pledged at the producer level role, your names are now on screen. If you are interested in seeing your name as a part of Retro Style Spotlight, the tutorials, and have it be inside of the Launchbox application, then head on over to our Patreon link in the description below. At just $2 a month, you can see content like RSS early, and at the higher tiers, you start to unlock things like exclusive Discord server access, producer credits, and a personal hangout with a Launchbox team. Any dollar amount anyone pledges to our campaign is helping us create a better product, and we could not thank you enough. So that was Retro Style Spotlight for the week of April 18th, 2017. All of the relevant links to everything you heard in this edition of RSS will be in the description below. Remember, you can sign up for a Launchbox forum account to interact with the community, moderators, and the Launchbox staff if you have any questions or would like to contribute to the project. If Launchbox has given you a beautiful library of games, then why not purchase a premium license of Launchbox for $20, which will get you big box and tons of premium-only features. If you enjoyed this episode of RSS, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe to get notified of new videos that we make. Let us know what you think of RSS and any feedback you may have on it in the comments below. My name is Brad, the link to my channel is also below where I do lots of gaming content, and remember fixing geeks to play more games, and we'll see you next time. Have a good day!